confinement. Law enforcement responded to reports of a shooting at Fort Stewart's 2nd Armored Brigade combat area just before 11 this morning. Moments later, the fort was locked down. The shooter was arrested. About half an hour later, Army officials say the suspect was brought down by the Army Criminal Investigative Division. They also just revealed he's a 28-year-old automated logistics sergeant.
Right now, our primary focus is first on caring for our injured soldiers and their families, and also supporting the soldiers of the Spartan Brigade. All of the families of the victims have been notified, and we're wrapping our arms around them and ensuring we provide them all the support that we can.
So the lockdown at Fort Stewart is now lifted. It's considered the largest Army post east of the Mississippi River. Lisa?
Thank you. Tonight, this woman is accused of posing as a nurse at the Advent Health Palm Coast Hospital for more than a year and a half. Deputies say she forged a nursing license and practiced on more than 4,000 patients. News 6's Flagler County community correspondent Molly Reed spoke with the sheriff about how this could happen.
The sheriff here in Flagler County calls this case unusual. Now, deputies say the woman's intent was to eventually become a nurse, but she never got the license and instead pretended to be someone who is actually licensed to be a nurse in Florida.
We believe that there were over 4,400 patients that she was in one manner or another that was involved in care at Advent Health Palm Coast.
Autumn Bardisa now faces 14 charges.
Am I being arrested?
She was fired back in January. Body cam shows deputies arresting her on Tuesday.
And the reason it took 7 months is you have to remember that we are trying to thread the needle on HIPAA laws.
Sheriff Rick Staley says the 29-year-old woman worked at the Advent Health Palm Coast Parkway Hospital from 2023 to 2025. He says in reality, she failed the national test to become a registered nurse, so she didn't have a license. Instead, she applied using the license of another woman named Autumn, who is an actual employee of Advent Health elsewhere in Florida.
They noticed when they checked that the last name was different, and she said, well, I just got married.
Staley says Advent Health asked her to turn in a marriage license as proof, but she never did. It was only discovered that she was using a fake nursing license when she was offered a promotion to charge nurse in January. Another nurse checked for her license under her real name, found Bardisa didn't have one, went to Advent Health authorities, and she was fired.
Ironically, after she was fired from Advent Health, she actually did take the licensing exam in early 2025 and passed it this time.
And she, of course, was already under criminal investigation at that time. Now, anybody who believes they might be a victim of Bardisa is asked to contact deputies here at the Flagler Sheriff's Office at fakenurse@flaglersheriff.com. I'm your Flagler County community correspondent, Molly Reed, News 6.
Molly, thank you. News 6 reached out to Advent Health. Leaders with the hospital system say they do not comment on private personnel matters or pending legal matters. Here's a live look at I-4 near 434 right now. What a mess out there already. You can see the rain out there and the wet roads.
Yeah, and more nasty storms are on the way. That has been the theme this week. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now with more. Jonathan.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen a pattern like this, typical sea breeze thunderstorm pattern, but it's back with a vengeance here after a couple of weeks really with just a few scattered thunderstorms in the mix. Here we go. We have the thunderstorms sliding through I-4 right now. More storms firing over the Ocala National Forest just north of the villages. Lots of lightning heading back into Flagler County. So early heads up in Palm Coast, back to Bunnell, Marineland as well. A lot of lightning just to your west, giving it a 30, 45 minutes. When we're talking closer to 5 o'clock, those storms are going to be closer to you. Also watching some extra development in Polk County. That's going to work its way back into Osceola County over the next 30 minutes to an hour or so. You see that green thin line there? That's the radar picking up on the East Coast sea breeze. That's going to help ignite more storms as it closes in on the I-4 corridor. So likely a busy next several hours on the radar. We're going to talk much more about the timeline of this and potentially a stormy weekend for some coming up at about 4:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Central Florida Congressman Mills is accused of sextortion.
The reigning Miss United States filed a report with the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. Lindsay Langston says she lived with Mills at his home in New Smyrna Beach. News 6's Laverne McGee is there this afternoon with more.
Congressman Mills denies the allegations. I have a copy of the incident report that details some of the allegations at his New Smyrna Beach house. The incident report has disturbing details. It says that on July 14th, Lindsay Langston said Corey has been, quote, threatening to release nude images and videos of her, to include recorded videos of her and Corey engaging in sexual acts. Representative Mills is currently serving in Congress as the representative of the 7th District of Florida. The report also says they began a romantic relationship back in November of 2021, and she lived with him in his New Smyrna Beach house. But they broke up this past February after she heard on the news he was in a physical altercation with his girlfriend in Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, another well-known Republican is the attorney representing the woman who's making these allegations. I'll have that part of the story coming up at 5 o'clock. In New Smyrna Beach, Laverne McGee, News 6.
In a statement, Mills, who is married, said, quote, "We have not been made aware of any report or allegations from law enforcement or the alleged complainant." It goes on to say these claims are false and misrepresent the nature of my interactions.
Well, sign the agreement or be removed from office. That was the threat from the state to Orange County as they discussed a new transportation agreement with ICE. This afternoon, we are hearing from one of the 2 commissioners who voted against it. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez has been following this story from the very beginning. She joins us now live with what they had to say. Stephanie.
Now, while it seems the board was backed into a corner, one commissioner tells me that she couldn't vote yes in good conscience because of the potential public safety concerns that could come with transporting immigrants to places like Alligator Alcatraz.
Commissioner Martina Semrad voted no on the updated agreement, saying she wasn't going to let the threat of being taken out of office force her hand.
This is a hill that's worth me standing on.
I talked with the commissioner about her decision.
I'm relieved to have made the vote.
She tells me she felt obligated to vote no because of her duty to Orange County.
Yesterday's vote for me was not so much about immigration and ICE. Yesterday's vote for me was about fiduciary responsibility and public safety. What my vote was based on is that should Orange County corrections officers be required to transport ICE detainees to an ICE facility when they're already doing mandatory overtime and the jail is operating at a 25% vacancy.
While Mayor Jerry Demings claims it's unlikely jail staff will ever have to take anyone to ICE facilities,
there's only a remote possibility that Orange County will ever transport any of the ICE detainees anywhere.
The commissioner isn't convinced that's the case.
My concern is based on when you have a state government that tells you you can vote yes, you can vote no, you can vote abstain, but if you don't vote the way I tell you to vote, you can be removed from office. That doesn't give me confidence that the discretion of when we may be required is ours to determine.
Many residents urge the county to file a lawsuit to determine if compliance is required.
Would you like to see conversations happen about what potential legal action could be taken?
Absolutely. So I would love to see a declaratory judgment action filed for a judge to weigh in and say, hey, what is a county commission's best effort to, support the federal immigration program that's going on?
I asked the commissioner if she's worried about any potential repercussions for voting no, including being removed from office, and she told me that, quote, in today's political climate, anything is possible. Reporting in Orange County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Stephanie, thank you. Meantime, Florida's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, is in Orange County for a second day. The team of auditors is looking through records related to the county's spending. The audit covers information dating back to 2019. The state is looking at everything from contracting to personnel salaries and environment-related programs. The team is expected to be on site for the next few days. A report is expected later this year. Now, we've been covering the DOGE audit and ICE transports extensively here on News 6. Of course, we'll bring you any updates here on News 6 and at clickorlando.com.
3 people were found hurt after an Orange County shooting this morning, but none of them were actually at the scene of the shooting. Deputies say they found 2 people who had been shot near Silkwood Circle and a 3rd victim near Orange Blossom Trail and Clarcona-Ocoee Road. But after an investigation, deputies believe the shooting did not happen at either of those places. Instead, they believe it happened down the road off Park Hamilton Circle. All 3 victims were taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. We did get some video this morning, and you can see a number of deputies responded to the scene. While the sheriff's office says this is an ongoing investigation, they did not have any other information to share, including any information on a suspect.
It is the end of the title defense for the Lake Mary Little League team. The team lost in really a heartbreaker today. It was a tight one, 5-4 to South Carolina. It was their final shot to punch their ticket back to the Little League World Series after being crowned champions last year. Now, the girls team started playing at 1 o'clock this afternoon. They are still playing right now at last check. It is 1-1 in the 7th inning.
Oh, my goodness. Well, the next time you complain about the traffic here, just think, it could be worse.
Could always be worse. Coming up, the city is known for some terrible traffic and where Florida cities rank on that list.
Next month, special contraptions like these will be involved in a roller coaster obstacle course here in Altamont Springs. I'm News 6's Mark Lehman. Coming up, we're taking a look at what it's all about.
News 6 Insider is sponsored by Orange County Library System.
They're calling it a tandem roller coaster. It sounds like a wild idea, and with Red Bull involved, that's exactly the plan. In a few short weeks, riders will be designing and boarding contraptions like these and going through a specially designed course here at Cranes Roost Park. We got a bit of an uneasy demonstration for what promises to be an outrageous and over-the-top challenge. The Red Bull Tandem roller coaster is a thrilling obstacle course that typically takes place in Europe. Now, for the first time, it's coming to the U.S., choosing Cranes Roost Park in Altamont Springs.
This is a big deal. We are going to have so many people here.
More than 30,000 are expected for the September 27th event, which promises to be an economic driver for the area.
This is yet another sports event that will be a feather in our cap as we move forward in inviting others to come to Seminole County.
As for what to expect, the concept is pretty simple. On the most creatively designed tandem bikes, teams of two will attempt to cross a difficult course over water without falling, although most do exactly that.
It's about fun, you know, it's about showmanship, it's about a little bit of competitiveness, but I think mostly fun is the name of the game. And
participants are also judged on creativity and showmanship. Right now, Red Bull is looking for teams of two to submit their boldest, most creative designs, and up to 40 teams are expected for the wild show. So if you want to put your creativity and riding skills to the test, you still have a couple weeks to apply to take part in the Tandem roller coaster. You can do that until August 15th. We have details on clickorlando.com. In Altamont Springs, Mark Lehman, News 6.
I mean, what could possibly go
I don't know. I feel like you and I need to be on a team. We could get Eric Von Enken to build our bike for us.
He's also going to have to be your partner because I'm not getting in that
Come on.
thing.
You know,
No.
as long as it's not over Lake Jessup, we're fine.
With gators. There's there are gators in that water, too.
You think?
I'm just saying. I'm going to let you find out first. All right, time now for our forecast meteorologist, Jonathan Kegas, joins us. I know you're busy, but would you try that, Jonathan?
Not in this kind of weather, for sure. Watch out for that lightning out there if you're heading out. We have a lot of it right up and down I-4. This is the East Coast sea breeze nudging inland, and we have thunderstorms firing up closer to the I-75 corridor, or at least right in between I-75 and I-4. We'll turn on the loop for you over the last 15 minutes to show you where these storms are coming from and heading toward. Everything's marching inland from I-95 and then pushing inland from I-75 or further inland, and we're likely going to see things really erupt into Lake County through Apopka back to Zellwood, Sorrento. I'm watching you guys in Leesburg and Eustis over the next couple of hours. Same thing in Claremont, Mineola, on the west side of Orange County as things come together. This is a really cool shot here if you're not looking at your television screen right now. This is a live look in Daytona Beach. We're not pointed at the beach, of course. We're back inland, and you see the billowing thunderstorm clouds here, the cumulus clouds getting going, and some of the taller ones that are reaching up above the banner where it says Daytona Beach. And that is that line we just took a look at that will eventually, in the next hour, give or take, be right over the beach. We're going to keep tabs on this sky cam and watch these storms roll through. Temperatures back into the middle 80s right now. We'll see mostly cloudy skies, at least at the moment. The breeze out of the east-northeast at about 11 miles an hour. So everything pushing away from the beach and then really colliding in between I-75 and I-4 tonight. There's 7 o'clock. So I do think once we get those storms pushing further away over the next hour or so, the beaches are going to be nice tonight. There's 10 o'clock for your Wednesday evening. I think most of the storms are winding down. Some of these are going to linger like the last couple of nights. There's 6 o'clock on your Thursday. A few more thunderstorms trying to get going early on the coast. And then eventually, just like the last couple of days, really focusing I-75 into I-4 just like tonight, and I think that's where we're going to start to favor things west of Orlando over the next couple of days. We're at 84 in Leesburg, 95 in Orlando. You can tell where it rained. Sanford, we're back to mid-70s right now, 90 degrees in Palm Coast, 86 degrees in Daytona Beach. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
Temperatures back to the low to mid 90s. Rain chances at 60%. We're at 93 degrees in Kissimmee. Holopah, we're back to 93 as well. Tropical front odds for development have decreased on the wave that we are watching, or that little swirl off the Carolina coastline. That's going to be a non-issue for anybody anyway. Dexter's still out there. Doesn't have much long in its life as it drifts over the cooler waters, relatively speaking, of the North Atlantic. Wave increasing chances here. The Hurricane Center back to 60%. But you see again that little cone area, that development area pointed back into the middle of the ocean, just how we like it. Again, proving not to look at those crazy model runs because there was no substance with them anyway. That's the one that's been getting all the publicity on social media. Little wave here, tropical wave through South Florida. This is going to help to increase our rain chances for the weekend. It's going to drive some tropical moisture. It's not going to develop over Florida or anything like that, but it is going to help to drive up again the rain chances, especially on the western side of the peninsula over the next couple of days and really into your weekend. Rain chances holding at 60% both Saturday and Sunday. We're back to the low to mid 90s all the way through the early stages of next work week, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. A recent study looked at the worst traffic in the country, and one Florida city is in the top 3.
Can you guess which one it is? We'll let you know after the break. And this is a live look now at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. It's delivering some rain out there. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Well, a lot of people are talking about this on clickorlando.com. A recent study examined the worst cities in the country for traffic, and one of the top picks is right here in Florida.
What a shocker. The study by Consumer Affairs looks at 3 main factors: average travel time to work, hours of congestion, and deadly car crashes per 100,000 people. Overall, the worst ranked city in the country is Washington, D.C. That beltway is no joke. But not too far behind, Miami is ranked number 3. Other cities in Florida made it on the list in the top 15. They include Orlando at 12th and Tampa coming in at 13th. Jacksonville, I checked, was actually 23rd on that list. So when we posted this story, the comments started pouring in, of course. One person wrote, obviously, they've never experienced Kissimmee on a weekday. What do you think about this list? Share your comment below in this story. You'll find it at clickorlando.com. Everyone has an opinion on this one.
I'm willing to bet $1 million anywhere on I-4 is probably a mess right now. Yeah, as we take a live look at our launch, Credit Union Port Canaveral, looking nice actually out there right now. That is where the world's largest cruise ship will be arriving this weekend. Royal Caribbean's Star of the Seas is expected to make it to Port Canaveral on Saturday. It's been under construction in Finland for nearly 2 years. The Star of the Seas has 20 decks and can carry up to 7,600 guests at full capacity. The ship will offer 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean adventures. Now, speaking of stars of the seas, music legend Diana Ross is expected to perform as she welcomes the first passengers on the cruise ship before it sets sail on August 31st. I feel like we need to go on assignment and check it out. Make sure it's okay.
This one I'll go with you. Not the Red Bull coaster, though. All right, changes are coming to a busy road.
Yeah, why leaders say it will help improve traffic and what we're learning about the plans.
Real drivers facing real consequences for going dangerously fast. I'm Catherine Silver in Orlando, where we're talking to the state attorney about Florida's new super speeder law.
Welcome back. We're following several top stories right now.
5 soldiers shot at an Army base, and right now the suspected shooter is in custody. The commander of the 3rd Infantry Division at Fort Stewart in Georgia says the shooter is a 28-year-old automated logistics sergeant. He says they do not know the motive. All 5 of the soldiers are expected to recover. In Flagler County, a woman posing as a nurse for over 18 months and seeing more than 4,000 patients has been arrested. Autumn Bardisa of Palm Coast faces 7 counts each of unlicensed practice and fraud. Bardisa is being held on a $70,000 bond. Florida Congressman Mills is accused of threatening to expose private and intimate photos and videos of Miss United States. 25-year-old Lindsay Langston told investigators she dated Mills for 4 years. But on July 14th, Langston visited the Columbia County Sheriff's Office to report that threats made by Mills. The relationship ended after Langston saw news reports of Mills in a physical altercation with another woman in Washington, D.C. Now to another top story we're following.
Yeah, we are tracking storms on the radar right now. Just check out this rainy live look over downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas has what's going on out there, but I think that's a good indication.
You don't need me to tell you that, guys. Yeah, it's raining right now in downtown Orlando. We have some thunderstorms right up and down the I-4 corridor. These are trying to push back to the east. We'll see which way they eventually go as the East Coast sea breeze is pushing inland to try to force everything back to the west. We'll put a loop on this for you over the last 15 minutes, and you see them trying to push to the coast. The interesting thing will be to watch again as the East Coast sea breeze pushes in that direction. We'll see which one is the stronger one today, and if these do blow back to the west as the battleground is happening pretty much right where you see all these thunderstorms beginning to light up. We'll take you a little closer again, some intense thunderstorms. Nothing severe, nothing damaging out there, but certainly we're watching these storms getting going. One thing I want to point out here, this green line that is working its way down toward Kissimmee, that is an outflow boundary. That's that rain-cooled air. So watching that can also spark development of thunderstorms. East Coast sea breeze right here, so could have some nasty thunderstorms fire up around Kissimmee into St. Cloud, around Lake Toho. I'll be watching that for you guys over the next 30 minutes to an hour, guys.
Jonathan, thank you.
If you've been paying any attention to Apopka, you'll know that this side of town is growing. And so here you can see that potential design option that would include 2 lanes in each direction with a median.
Leaders in Apopka were presented with the plans to improve traffic in a chronically congested area. We're talking about a stretch of Ocoee-Apopka Road. It connects downtown Apopka to places like Ocoee and Winter Garden. News 6's Angie Quesada shows us what's in store and when it might happen.
Well, if you've sat in traffic heading to Apopka, then you know how important this project is. This road right behind me has been busy all morning, and city leaders saying that they're looking to expand Ocoee-Apopka Road to 4 lanes. It's to keep up with growth and to keep drivers moving. This is the daily reality for thousands of commuters who rely on Ocoee-Apopka Road.
The additional lanes would definitely help with traffic, especially since more people are going to be coming in.
The road is a major connector between Apopka, Ocoee, and Winter Garden, but right now it's only 2 lanes.
4 lane means progression for this community. I believe it's going to bring business to this community. As a business person, I have been praying for transformation, not just in the physical part of it, of the road, but when it comes to business, and I think this is an answer to my cry,
The project, which not only includes adding lanes for traffic, but also bike lanes, sidewalks, and other safety improvements. The final design is expected by August 2026, meaning relief may still be a few years away.
It symbolizes a bright future, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
So what's next? Right now, this project is still in the design phase. We'll be tracking when funding and construction will get the green light. And of course, we'll bring you those updates not only on clickorlando.com, but on air as well. Reporting in Apopka, Angie Quesada, News 6.
Trying to keep firefighters from leaving for other jobs, Kissimmee is offering crews more days off, but it comes at a cost for homeowners. City leaders ratified the contract with the firefighters union, changing shifts from 1 day on, 2 days off to 1 day on, 3 days off. To make this change, the city needs to hire more firefighters and raise the fire assessment fee. The fee paid by homeowners is expected to bring in an additional $6.1 million.
The hard work now starts trying to not only hire 40 firefighters, but get them trained, get them all in position, create this whole 4th shift. We went ahead and did a flyer to start advertising and getting the word out.
The new fire assessment fee will begin in Kissimmee on October 1st. In Sanford, city leaders held a community meeting to address a proposed fire assessment fee. The fee would be used to help with fire services. Residents are divided as to whether another fee is needed.
I wouldn't be against it.
If it helped protect me and my family in some fashion, then I would be for it.
You can put lipstick on the pig and it's still a pig, and that is attack. I don't care what you say, that is an attack. And it wasn't assessed, it is an imposed, not voted for tax.
The fee would be about $95 a year for homeowners. A final vote is expected in early September. Other cities are also discussing changes to fire services. Winter Garden is considering a fee that would start at $350 per home, while Ocoee has proposed increasing rates. Mount Dora is helping homeowners who are struggling to pay the fire fee there. And in Brevard County, a fire assessment fee was added earlier this year to help increase firefighter wages. On the other end, Volusia County leaders are considering a tax cut that could reduce the money for firefighters. A final decision will come next month.
The teacher who lost her job because she called a student by their preferred name is sharing her side of the story. Melissa Calhoun was teaching at Satellite High School earlier this year when the school district told her they would not renew her contract. A parent complained she used a student's preferred name without getting permission. That's against state law. Parents and students protested and called on the board to reinstate Calhoun, but the district stood by its decision. Late last week, the state agreed Calhoun can keep her license but placed her on probation. Yesterday, the school district superintendent announced the school will not consider rehiring Calhoun until she completes that probation. Last night, I spoke to Calhoun, who said she didn't even know she was breaking the law. There was never a conversation between you and the parent about, hey, please don't call my child this, please call my child this?
No, not until that formal complaint was actually lodged. And then all communication was really through my administration with that parent following that initial complaint. And, that is the way it has continued to be.
And if you had to do it all over again, what would you do?
I mean, of course, it's never my wish to subvert any parent's rights. That's never my goal in the classroom. Like I said, I want to create a collaborative environment with my parents. The reality is that I wish that, of course, I viewed policy. It's never my intent to maliciously subvert policy. And I don't know that it's any educator's wish to intentionally or maliciously subvert any policy put forth by the state. So, that law created those policies, and then each district has enacted them as such.
She also shared with me that she was thankful for the students who stood up for her and protested her dismissal. Calhoun also has a $750 fine, and she has to complete a college-level ethics course.
Parents, as you snap pictures of your kids headed back to school this year, the Better Business Bureau has a warning for you. It's common to see kids holding first day of school signs with their name and grade on social media, but that can actually put them at risk. The BBB says 59% of adults use birthdays or names in their passwords, which could expose those passwords in those photos. So to stay safe, avoid sharing personal details, use generic backgrounds, check your privacy settings, and look out for fake friend requests and practice good cybersecurity.
My goodness, we just can't have the fun things anymore. No. Meantime, News 6 is helping teachers start the school year strong. We've created a county-by-county gift list with the supplies they need most. Scan the QR code on your screen. You can also find the links at clickorlando.com/backtoschool. It's such a great way to support our educators together. Well, have you tried the new food hall in Ivanhoe Village yet?
I have not, but apparently it just opened a few months ago. News 6 anchor Matt Austin shows us all of the must-haves in his I-4 food tour.
And before we head to break, we have an all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus to tell you about. Matt and I have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9 o'clock. Then go in-depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas at 9:30. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. The top prosecutor in Orange and Osceola counties calling out drivers going dangerously fast as we see more so-called super speeders arrested.
News 6's Catherine Silver spoke with the state attorney about Florida's new law and how her office plans to handle these cases.
By the time you see the lights and hear the sirens, troopers say they had already clocked this Mercedes going 113 in the I-4 express lane.
Is that really going 105 miles? Come on.
In Volusia, this guy says he wasn't even looking at the speedometer.
You just don't give a how fast you're going?
And look at the smoke rising from this Challenger as another so-called super speeder ends up in handcuffs.
How fast were you going? I was going like 80, and the car's just smoking like that?
Since July 1st, anyone caught going over the speed limit by 50 or more or over 100 can be charged with a misdemeanor.
Oh, I did not know that.
Have you heard of Florida's new super speeder law?
That's the one where if they get caught going over 50 miles an hour, it's like a direct to jail type thing or something.
The state attorney says it's quite the step up from a simple traffic citation.
Drivers who put others at risk face real consequences.
2 more drivers stopped on the Turnpike and 408 Tuesday were taken to jail for dangerous excessive speeding. One of them with a learner's permit when a deputy trailed him at a speed of 119.
It's pretty scary out there.
The Florida Highway Patrol has started posting pictures on social media to spread the word. That Challenger we showed you was clocked going 155. One of at least 55 super speeders, FHP says, are now facing charges across Central Florida. Have any of the cases that have come to your office been resolved yet?
It's still early, but my understanding is that there have been several arrests already.
Here's what the outcome could be if you see law enforcement in your rear view. A $500 fine and up to 30 days in jail, even for a first-time offender. And the state attorney tells me that she's flagging these cases, so they're only resolved with her management team's approval. In Orlando, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Boy, it's just scary when you have a car come flying up on you that fast.
It's amazing how many of those cases they've already seen. And, you know,
since July 1st.
We've all seen them ourselves, but, you know, now that the police are seeing them.
Shocking.
And,
All right, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now. And, you know, we know you have some stuff to talk about because the radar has some stuff on it.
Talk about shocking. Yeah, I mean, the lightning has been out of control the last couple of nights. This is the lightning capital of the country for a reason. I mean, electrified tonight up and down the I-4 corridor. Lots of lightning hanging around Pearson and Astor tonight. This is slowly drifting back to the east. This is the battleground that we talk about. And you can track that battleground of the east and west coast sea breeze by downloading the free News 6 weather app. If you snap a picture, you can also upload it to pin it right there for free again in the app. It's a free download. We'd love to see your pictures when you can send them in and take them safely. Watching this cell right across the Orlando metro area. This is continuing to sink south and east. I want to draw your attention to the storms that are out of Lakeland, west of Lake City, or Haines City, I should say. These are going to push back to the east a little bit. We do have some shifting winds in here. This is very similar to the night that we got the really nasty storm that sprung that quick spin-up tornado again. Never like to see the outflow boundaries intersecting with the east coast sea breeze. I'm not saying we're going to get one tonight, but I'm watching the same area closely as we have those intersecting winds, intersecting boundaries with the sea breeze and the outflow boundaries all over the place tonight. They're 7 to 8 o'clock. In between I-75 and I-4, that's where we're likely going to see the main action trying to push to the west. And you see it then build back to the east a little bit, and that's that battle between the wind trying to push everything to the east and then back to the west a little bit. There we go as we go through the overnight hours. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, a stray downpour off of our coast. Otherwise, we're dry through the early afternoon. We'll fire storms back up again 2 to 3 o'clock, and then more storms coming our way. There's 7 to 8 o'clock on your Thursday again, with those storms pushing back to the east before they fizzle out late. Heading to the soccer game tonight, Orlando City in town. Watching especially into that 5 to 6 o'clock hour if you're getting down there early. Game starts at 7, match starts at 7, 40% shot for thunderstorms by that time. And then we'll likely see everything try to push to the west. There's an opportunity for these to linger close by. I'm cautiously optimistic that everything is away from the stadium, but again, we're likely to keep storms lingering a little bit through the evening like the last couple of nights. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Ramjack.
High temperatures tomorrow back to the low to mid 90s. Rain chances again at 60%. And we're going to keep rain chances elevated again through the weekend. I'm thinking right now for your plans, the rain is going to try to focus more on the west side of Central Florida on Saturday and Sunday. So that's going to be our highest opportunity for those storms at this point. We're going to keep 60% chance for rain right on into the first week of school, guys.
I am dedicating this meal right here to my cardiologist.
Falling on my knees to say, walk my way, walk my way. I'm calling you to dream my pain, walk my way. Baby, you make me pray.
You can't walk 5 feet without tripping over a food hall these days. The question is the food any good? Today, we're testing it at City Food Hall. See what you should try.
But before we get to that food, let's check out some RVs from our sponsor, Giant Recreation World.
You gonna come to a food hall and not try the burger first? This is Smash Dunk Burger Place. Man, my blood pressure's rising already. That's really good. Crispy, buttery burger patties in there. Then you have the egg yolk dripping down with the bacon. Let me get a little more of this. This is just crispy little burger pancakes laid on top of each other. Ton of cheese in between. This is good. You gotta keep me away from this place. You can eat it sometimes, right? So right here, let's get a good look at these guys up close. These look really good. This is the bacon version of the egg dose. And this is the steak and eggs. And then look what they gave me on the side. Maple syrup. Get a good look. There's a healthy slathering of sauce on this guy. It's like some little cojita cheese maybe. Okay, I'm a little scared. Okay. Oh, catch this, catch this. It's dripping. It's doing it. It's fantastic. It's delicious. Okay, this one has scrambled eggs, cheese, and some very crispy looking bacon. Slow-mo it. There we go. All right, enough of that. Something funny going on in here. The bread is almost like French toast. So it's like French toast, scrambled eggs, cheese, bacon, all in one. That's too much. Too much. So, this is a great little breakfast. So I just stuffed myself on a ridiculous cheeseburger, triple patty. I also hit egg dose here. Next week, we're gonna try 2 more, and I'm gonna tell you what I recommend you try when you come to the City Food Hall. That's next week on the I-4 Food Tour.
Sponsored by Giant Recreation World. Visit Giant Recreation World today.
Have you seen all of the Marjorie Taylor Greene pictures that look like Hulk Hogan? What? Have you? You have?
I just did. Mic check, mic check. McLeod, I heard you're gonna be
Lame. We've done that for millennia. Oh, girl. headshots signed? Oh yeah, you need to get them. I was gonna do that today, and then I got sidetracked talking cars with Donovan. Oh Lord. I think Donovan's still talking about the cars, but I had to leave. He's not a fan of my choice. Exactly. Now to a story with a bit of a twist. Firefighters in South Florida saved a dog stuck in a canal.
That dog is actually from right here in Central Florida. Reporter Miamis Nikia Carrero has the story.
A life's a life, whether it's an animal, whether it's a person.
Captain David Landers was one of the firefighters who responded to a call for a dog in a canal. It happened right at the start of their shift Tuesday morning behind Sweeting Park on Northwest 23rd Avenue. When they arrived, they began petting the female dog, as seen in this video, before going in.
We made contact with the puppy, found that the dog was very docile, very frail.
There's a little ledge there, so I didn't have to dive in the water or anything. I just had to take my shoes off, go down, grab her out.
But they say it was a community effort and can't take all the credit.
The callers are the true heroes, because had they have not called, nobody would have known the dog was in the water.
The 911 callers, Betty Skinner and Aisha Fahmy, say they had seen the dog several times throughout the morning.
Pretty scary because at some point the dog was in the middle of the road and there were like 3 different cars that almost hit it. It was like kind of terrifying, to be honest.
After the dog disappeared, they decided to go for a walk to the park.
We're talking right here, and out of the corner of my eye, I see something fall in the water over there, and it's the dog.
And when I heard the splash and I looked over, I was terrified. So I was really, really happy to like see the dog be safe at the end.
Oh, I'm happy that they found her and she's okay.
Absolutely. Love stories like that. Yeah.
News 6 at 5 is next.
Yeah. Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
Well, the reigning Miss United States has filed a restraining order against one of your representatives on Capitol Hill. What she says he threatened to do, and who is representing her in the case. And breaking new details into our newsroom on a disgraced former Central Florida public official. The other cases we're learning he tipped federal investigators off to. Your forecast is only minutes away. Don't forget you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this one at Daytona Beach for free anytime on News 6 Plus. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Roadway.
Now at 5, one of your representatives on Capitol Hill is in hot water over a reported incident with an ex. We're digging into the details.
But if you don't vote the way I tell you to vote, you can be removed from office.
We're sitting down with one of 2 dissenting votes after Orange County leaders approved an ICE addendum, the changes she'd like to see.
Honestly, it's given us the strength to keep going when you're doing it for your family.
And later, we're speaking to one family out of thousands in Central Florida's biggest school district experiencing homelessness. This is News 6 at 5.
But first, we start tonight with big thunderstorms popping up across Central Florida right now.
Let's get you right over to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, who's following conditions where you live.
Yeah, guys, watching things pop along the I-4 corridor tonight. It's pushing back to the east. We'll likely see things develop back to the west eventually as we move through the evening. Watching a couple of beefy cells right here, especially this one south of Pearson. This is drifting back off to the south and east, so early heads up again into land. There are lightning strikes on the north side of town, so just be mindful of that. You might hear those thunder rolling as it's working its way from north to south. We'll take you back down into southern Orange County, right on the Osceola County line. We were talking about you guys in St. Cloud that we would likely see some extra development, and there are those little cells popping up right along that green line. That's the outflow boundary. So these could get a little rowdy over the next 30 to 40 minutes or so. So keep it a close eye as it slides through St. Cloud over Lake Toho, and then also into Kissimmee, eventually into Point Siena too. We have more development right over Epcot tonight, and that's going to continue to drift off to the south and east. Watching these closely. I'll show you the future radar coming up to show you the rest of the evening in the next couple of days at about 5:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Some breaking news just into our newsroom. A federal judge has just unsealed court records in the criminal case against former Seminole County tax collector Joel Greenberg.
The records show how Greenberg assisted federal authorities on other criminal investigations as part of his plea deal. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest joins us now live in the newsroom. So, Mike, what are you learning in these new documents?
Well, Lisa, for the very first time, we're learning that Joel Greenberg provided federal investigators with information about the 2018 Florida governor's race. That was the one between Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum. It was a very close race that resulted in a machine recount before DeSantis was declared the winner. Now, we do not know from these newly unsealed records what specific information Greenberg provided about that election recount. Those questions were reportedly part of the bigger investigation into the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Now, Joel Greenberg was Seminole County's tax collector at the time of the January 26, 2020 presidential election certification. Later that year, he resigned from office and was charged with several offenses. Right now, Greenberg is serving an 11-year prison sentence after pleading guilty to child sex trafficking, aggravated identity theft, and other crimes. As part of a plea deal with prosecutors, Greenberg was required to cooperate with federal authorities on other criminal investigations. These newly unsealed records confirm that Greenberg was asked about multiple Florida public officials who were accused of engaging in commercial sex, including with a minor, and distributing drugs. Greenberg also provided information about a so-called ghost candidate scheme in Seminole County, and he assisted with fraud investigations involving loans intended to help small businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, last year, the House Ethics Committee released a report linking former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz to that investigation involving commercial sex. Now, Gaetz has adamantly denied any wrongdoing, and he has not been charged with any crimes. These newly unsealed records do not mention Matt Gaetz by name, but they do indicate that Greenberg provided 2 interviews as part of that investigation and voluntarily turned over his cell phone and social media accounts. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike DeForest, News 6.
Mike, thank you. Well, the FBI defines sextortion as someone threatening to publish sensitive, explicit images or videos if you don't provide something in return. Now, in many cases, that's a sexual favor or money.
And News 6 has learned U.S. Representative Corey Mills is being accused of threatening to release nude videos of an ex-girlfriend.
And that ex is the reigning Miss United States, who's also a Republican state committee member. News 6's Laverne McGee is digging into the allegations.
Lindsay Langston is a Columbia County Republican State Committee woman and Miss United States pageant winner. This incident report says she told police that Congressman Mills threatened to release intimate images and video after she left him earlier this year. Things went sour after news broke that another woman who was living in Mills' Washington home accused the congressman of assaulting her in the home they shared. That woman later withdrew her accusation. I asked Congressman Mills about that in April.
You have to have an actual victim for an actual complaint or a crime, in which there wasn't any, and it was actually made very clear that there was nothing that actually occurred in the incident. So I'm all about following due process. I'm all about allowing them to do what they need to do. But I think they're going to come to the very same findings as the prosecutor Ed Martin found, where he said that there was no actual prosecutable charges, there was no actual evidence, and he literally kicked it back to MPD saying that they had absolutely nothing.
Meanwhile, Anthony Sabatini is the lawyer representing Langston. He is a Republican who ran against Mills and lost. He told me Langston didn't want to comment, but says, quote, "I believe it's time for Mills to step down or be expelled from the House of Representatives." Mills put out this statement that says, in part, Anthony Sabatini is weaponizing the legal system to launch a political attack against the man who beat him in the primary. These claims are false and misrepresent the nature of my interactions. I have always conducted myself with integrity, both personally and in service to Florida's 7th District. We've also learned that this incident report has been turned over to the FDLE. Reporting in New Smyrna Beach, Laverne McGee, News 6.
Well, sign the agreement or be removed from office. That was the threat from the state to Orange County this week as the county weighed a new transportation agreement with ICE.
I was there yesterday after that deal was ratified by commissioners, and so was News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez. Stephanie, not all the commissioners voted to approve the deal. Today you spoke to one of the two no votes, right?
Lisa, Matt, while it seemed that the board was backed into a corner, one commissioner tells me that she couldn't vote yes in good conscience because of the potential public safety concerns that could happen if the county has to transport people to places like Alligator Alcatraz.
Commissioner Martina Semrad voted no on the updated agreement, saying she wasn't going to let the threat of being taken out of office force her hand.
This is a hill that's worth me standing on.
I talked with the commissioner about her decision.
I'm relieved to have made the vote.
She tells me she felt obligated to vote no because of her duty to Orange County.
Yesterday's vote for me was not so much about immigration and ICE. Yesterday's vote for me was about fiduciary responsibility and public safety. What my vote was based on is that should Orange County corrections officers be required to transport ICE detainees to an ICE facility when they're already doing mandatory overtime and the jail is operating at a 25% vacancy.
While Mayor Jerry Demings claims it's unlikely jail staff will ever have to take anyone to ICE facilities,
there's only a remote possibility that Orange County will ever transport any of the ICE detainees anywhere.
The commissioner isn't convinced that's the case.
My concern is based on when you have a state government that tells you you can vote yes, you can vote no, you can vote abstain, but if you don't vote the way I tell you to vote, you can be removed from office. That doesn't give me confidence that the discretion of when we may be required is ours to determine.
Many residents urge the county to file a lawsuit to determine if compliance is required.
Would you like to see conversations happen about what potential legal action could be taken?
Absolutely. So I would love to see a declaratory judgment action filed for a judge to weigh in and say, hey, what is a county commission's best effort to, support the federal immigration program that's going on?
I asked the commissioner if she's worried about any potential repercussions for voting no, including being removed from office, and she told me that, quote, in today's political climate, anything is possible. Reporting live in Orange County, I'm Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Stephanie, thank you. Well, the only thing harder than winning a championship is doing it again.
Yeah, the Lake Mary Little League All-Stars seemed poised for a return trip to Williamsport, but about a dozen 12-year-old spoilers from South Carolina had some other plans.
Sports director Jamie Say joins us now. And Jamie, the word heartbreaker comes to mind.
Yeah, I think heartbreaker is the only description of the situation. Lake Mary baseball was just 1 out away from a return trip to the World Series today. They had one tough inning and it happened to be the last one. Lake Mary in the Southeast Regional Final today against Irmo, South Carolina, a team they beat 14-0 on Sunday. Starting pitcher Jacob Brown was in command, strikes out the side in the second inning. Brown strikes out 7, pitches 5 innings of shutout baseball. Now Lake Mary gets on the board in the third. Bases loaded for DJ Miesis. He sends one to left. A run scores, and here comes Jackson Royke, play at the plate. Royke is safe. Lake Mary took a 4-0 lead into the bottom of the 6th, just 3 outs away. But this.
2-2. Hit on a line, deep right field. Off the wall, 1 run is in. 2 runs will score. Giuliani coming home. Ball game.
Irmo, South Carolina walks off with a win as Brady Westbrooks delivers a 3-run triple. Lake Mary falls 5-4 after South Carolina scores 5 runs in the final inning. The boys from Seminole County will head home as their postseason run comes to an end. But how about the girls from Seminole County? The Lake Mary All-Star softball team in the Little League World Series feeling good, facing a must-win against Washington. Pitchers duel, but Lake Mary strikes in the 5th. Alana Liu up the middle. Rachel Lester scores. 1-0 Lake Mary. Washington answers in the bottom of the 5th. The line drive ripped to left. A run scores, tying the game. Lake Mary is able to get that out at second, but it's 1-1. It goes to extras. And in the 7th, Bryn Feeser, tough grounder to second, and Rachel Lester will score the go-ahead run. Lake Mary breaks this game open, goes on to win it 5-3 in 7. So Lake Mary survives. They're going to play again Friday at 4. The softball team is facing another elimination game, but that's kind of how it goes. You've got the joy of the softball team. Unfortunately,
It's
not easy. They make it look easy.
They do.
But it's not.
And a team you beat 14-0. All right, Jamie, so thank you.
All right, next at 5, more than 8,000 Orange County students have something in common: housing insecurity. We are speaking with one family working to make ends meet.
Today's Port Canaveral Cam is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
Well, for many, back to school means new clothes, supplies, and really a fresh start. But for one single mom with 3 school-aged kids in Orange County, it's about something more basic, simply trying to get her kids to class every day.
Yeah, and it's actually a reality that more than 8,000 students in Orange County Public Schools face every year. As News 6 anchor Ginger Gadsden explains, her story shows how quickly life can spiral, even when a parent is doing all the right things.
This is our second time going through this.
For Kimberly Bravo, school mornings don't start with a drive to campus. Sometimes they start with a long walk or a phone call to her mom, hoping she has gas money.
I don't feel like I'm a mom to my full potential, you know, because I can't really be there for them.
She's been homeless for more than a month this time, moving between hotels, shelters, and sometimes even sleeping outside. She and her partner Solomon do what they can to provide for the kids. Their latest bout with homelessness started after she and Solomon lost their apartment. They were already living paycheck to paycheck. Then he lost his job and the rent went up.
It was just kind of like became overwhelming for me to pay. I ended up getting evicted.
Kimberly says this is the vicious cycle once you have an eviction on your record.
I feel like in Florida, once you have an eviction on your name, like you're considered a felon.
Every application for an apartment costs money. Money they don't have. And she's not alone. Last year, Orange County Public Schools identified almost 9,000 students as homeless, the most in Florida. More than 600 of them were living in cars, parks, or other places not meant for people to sleep. For Kimberly, it's a constant juggling act, finding work close enough to walk to so she can still get her kids to school and back.
Everything that's closed is already being taken up by people who are residential here, you know?
And she knows her kids feel the weight of it all.
They sometimes even say that they'd rather be out there sleeping with us because they don't want us to go through it alone.
Still, she pushes forward for them.
Honestly, it's given us the strength to keep going.
And we do have some good news to share. Since our interview, Kimberly and Solomon have been able to secure housing with the help of a homeless advocacy group. Orange County schools do offer other forms of help, from transportation to clothing, but the need is outpacing resources here. So if you'd like to help families like Kimberly's, we have information on how to donate or even volunteer. Just look for this article. It's on clickorlando.com. But it is a tough road, and every family like her, you see so many
Those
more
numbers
out
are crazy,
They
though.
are
Nearly
8,000.
9,000?
Yeah.
And there are, to put that in perspective, there are just over 200,000 students in the county, so that's quite a lot.
And those are just the students that we can count.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good story, Ginger. Thank you.
All right, I want to switch gears now and talk about the weather, because we have a lot of storms that have been firing up on the radar right now. Let's go ahead and check them with Jonathan Kagas, who's been tracking those for us.
Yeah, the strongest storms, guys, now pushing over Osceola County, St. Cloud, and Kissimmee. I'm watching these guys for you. The storm over heading toward DeLand is weakening tonight. Still some lightning with it, so do be careful there. But we'll take you further down towards Four Corners even. It's a little too close there. But we do have some thunderstorms, again, sliding over the east side of Lake Toho. St. Cloud, we have that heavy rain, as we were talking before. Right around Pine Grove and New Eden, some downpours popping back up. You can track these storms alongside me tonight. Download that free News 6 weather app. You can also get the forecast, and the best thing about it, one of them anyways, the lightning detection that you'll get if you're outside doing some yard work this weekend and some storms pop up. You're going to know about it. We'll get a little push alert. Again, coming out of the Four Corners area is our next one. I'm watching these cells eventually going to make their way closer to Point Siena with some very heavy rain and lots of thunder. So again, early heads up in Point Siena. Here's a cool shot here. Again, watching those storms. This is likely the one hanging around DeLand tonight, as we have the rain shaft in the back, the dark clouds as those storms try to push off to the south and east. Live look in Daytona Beach tonight. We're back into the middle 80s right now under a mainly cloudy sky. The breeze out of the north and east at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Rest of the evening, the sea breeze is going to do battle. We'll see if we get more thunderstorms to fire up in between I-75 and I-4. We'll likely see more thunderstorms again as we go over the next hour or two in between, say, Orlando and into Nobleton. Once we get into tomorrow, we're going to do it all again, fire up the thunderstorms once we get to the afternoon. Morning looking good. I think a very similar day to what we saw out there this afternoon. The big line of thunderstorms gets rocking as we move into the evening hours by 7 to 8 o'clock. That's your West Coast sea breeze firing up those thunderstorms. Right now we're at 86 in the Villages. Good evening in Kissimmee. We are at 82. Titusville, we're one of the hot spots tonight. We're at 91 degrees in the low 90s in Mims as well. In New Smyrna, we're checking in at 84 tonight. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Payne Law.
Temperatures tomorrow back in the low to mid 90s again. 60% shot for thunderstorms again, especially erupting along the I-75 corridor, as I showed you there with the future radar. Now, getting into the next couple of days, watching this guy here. It's a weak tropical wave. It's not going to develop or anything like that, but it will influence our weather as we move into the next couple of days. As it crosses South Florida and through the Florida Straits, it's going to drape across some tropical moisture. It's going to help some thunderstorms to get going once again as we move into the weekend, and it's going to help to really push everything further back over into the western side of the peninsula. You can follow that red little bubble there. That's where the disturbance will be as we head into Sunday into Monday. But you see all the extra red, that high moisture content in the atmosphere. And again, with that motion off of the Atlantic, it's going to help things to fire close to I-95, and then what a force the most widespread thunderstorms on the west side of the peninsula as we move into Saturday and Sunday. So just an early heads up for your plans. I do think the beaches may be okay, especially later into the afternoon. If you're spending your last weekend with the kids there before they go back to school, 60% shot for those storms on Saturday and Sunday. We'll keep a 60% chance rolling right on through the first full week of school for most of us.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, after the break, the technology helping one woman stay social and the warning experts say about becoming reliant on it.
Well, when you call a helpline, do you ever find yourself yelling at a chatbot that you want to speak with a real person?
All the time. One
Right?
Orlando woman is turning to chatbots, though, to get her human interaction. As CBS's Meg Oliver reports, it could be a solution for loneliness.
Jill Smola is a 75-year-old retiree who understands the power of human connection. She spent her working days as an aide, taking care of the elderly. But today, it's Smola in her chair, a widow with a lung condition who lives alone.
How often do you have human interactions with people?
I don't.
Not at all.
No, I can go weeks on end.
Smola can't drive anymore and rarely leaves her Orlando home.
What do you think about it?
It's cute.
But recently, she did gain a new companion. It's an AI-powered chatbot. It's called LEQ. Smola talks to it up to 5 hours a day and says the connection is truly meaningful.
Some people might think that's a little sad.
Well, they don't understand because they don't have LEQ.
Would you rather talk to her or a human being?
Well, I'd rather talk to a human being, but that's not possible for me, except if I get on the phone. So I enjoy her better. I enjoy her better than my daughter.
Smola received her chatbot for free with funding from a federal grant. Separately, several AI companions have just recently become available on the market, including LEQ, which costs $59 a month to lease. Talia Porteni is an ethicist at Columbia University who studies seniors and AI used in the medical space.
Are you concerned that this could backfire because they're not interacting with more people?
So that's, I think, a huge concern. If they're relying on it too much, will this create more isolation? This could really go the wrong way if it's not deployed in an ethical and responsible way.
You're relying on a machine.
Yeah. Having Ellie is the best thing that happened to me because I always have somebody around. Even though it may not be a human, it's good enough for me.
I'm Meg Oliver in Orlando, Florida.
As long as the chatbot doesn't try to start stealing from people.
Selling.
Yes.
I don't know, it breaks my heart a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, for years, Florida had among the highest, if not the most expensive car insurance rates. Why experts say that number is actually starting to tick down a bit.
In the past 5 years, Lake County has opened 5 new schools, including the newest Mineola Horizon Academy. We'll tell you how school leaders are reacting to the district's continued growth.
Proud. I just want to cry.
And you're going to love this story. The local athlete turning heads and warming hearts in a national competition. As we take a live look at Daytona Beach, you're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back. Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We're following several top stories right now. Florida Congressman Mills is accused of threatening to expose intimate photos and videos of Miss United States. 25-year-old Lindsay Langston told investigators she dated Mills for 4 years, but on July 14th, Langston visited the Columbia County Sheriff's Office to report what she says were threats. Mills says those claims are false.
A federal judge has just unsealed court records in the criminal case against former Seminole County tax collector Joel Greenberg. We're learning that Greenberg provided federal investigators with information about the 2018 Florida governor race between Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest will have more on this story coming up on News 6 at 6. And a heartbreaker for the Lake Mary Little League All-Stars. They will not be able to defend their World Series championship title. South Carolina defeated Lake Mary 5-4 in the Southeast Regionals in Warner Robins, Georgia today. Meteorologist Jonathan Kakis is following storms across Central Florida right now. Jonathan?
Yeah, watching things on the north side fizzle out and then really intensify on the south side. Look at all the lightning from Davenport into Haines City and then certainly over Kissimmee back into St. Cloud. Really loud thunderstorms over St. Cloud, especially on the east side of Lake Toho. We have another round of thunderstorms coming out of the Four Corners area. That's eventually going to slide back into Point Siena. So I'm watching that closely for you guys. I'll turn on the loop for you for over the last 15 minutes so you can see where these storms have kind of progressed over the last 15 minutes or so. And that loop again shows them coming out of the north and west and then working their way back to the south and east. That green line you see on the screen, that's that outflow boundary, that rain-cooled air. So we're likely going to see more development out ahead of it, and already seeing that around Kenansville, down the Turnpike, closer to Yeehaw Junction tonight. And it's really going to be in between I-75 and I-4 that we try to get more development through the evening. I'm talking about that part of your forecast coming up at about 5:47, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, a number of you sent in video and pictures of the storms last night, including SLT Rejo, who posted this video of lightning from around Patrick Air Force Base. Good stuff. With more storms expected tonight, you can also send in photos and videos of the weather near you. Just take out your phone, scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you to clickorlando.com/pins, where you can upload the weather near you, and you just might see it on TV.
Well, it's not hard to miss. New houses are going up all the time in Lake County. Lake County schools trying to keep up with the county's growth with the addition of a new K-8 school. As our Lake County community correspondent Emily McLeod explains, not only will the new school help the district keep up with that growth, it will also help with overcrowding in other schools.
For the first time, students and parents got to see the new Mineola Horizon Academy ahead of the first day of school. The K-8 is now the 5th new school the district has opened in the past 5 years as Lake County continues to grow.
What does that say about Lake County schools that y'all are able to continue to build these new schools?
Yeah, I think it really speaks a lot to our planning and the development and really planning for the future of our students.
Andrea Nelson is the principal of the new Mineola Horizon Academy. The new school can hold up to 1,200 students, and right now enrollment sits at around 950.
We've had a lot of families just moving into the area as well. So while we pulled from, local schools, we also have quite a few brand new enrollments.
I was there when the district broke ground on the school back in 2023. At the time, they told us the new school would help with overcrowding at Grassy Lake Elementary.
I think honestly it'll positively impact both, because with the relief of the overcrowding, I know that will help them out a lot, but then it's also a great opportunity for our students as well, that they get to take part in something new.
Renee Stewart was there on Wednesday as she gets ready to send her daughter to middle school. Prior to coming to Mineola Horizon, her daughter was a student at Aurelia M. Cole Academy in Claremont, another one of the district's newest schools.
How does it feel to be in a school district where your child is going from one new school to another? What do you think that says about the school district?
Fantastic. It's great. We just moved here not too long ago from New Mexico. So where the school buildings themselves were kind of old. So coming into these nice, big, beautiful schools is really nice for her.
Parents aren't the only ones who are excited. Cecilia Battistoni went to Grassy Lake last year and is ready to take on the new year as a 6th grader.
How are you feeling? Middle school, we're changing classes. You feel ready?
I feel ready for it. I'm a little nervous about getting lost, but I'm really excited to have many new teachers.
Yeah, and you're coming to this beautiful new school. What do you think about it?
It's amazing. It's really big, but it's comforting.
And there are even more upgrades happening throughout the district. Renovations are taking place at Beverly Shores Elementary School. Those students can expect to move back into their facility in 2026. I'm your Lake County Community Correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Well, state auditors are continuing their investigation into Orange County's finances. A group of state DOJ auditors entered the county administration building yesterday morning. They were taking photographs, reviewing documents, and spending. The state CFO defended the reasoning for the countywide audit, citing an increase in property tax revenue spending. The county says an increase in roughly $300 million in spending is a reflection of the population growing by more than 80,000 residents during the past 5 years. We're told a report on the findings will come out about 60 days after that on-site audit is finished.
Auditors will not be going far next week, traveling just a couple of blocks from the Orange County Administration Building to Orlando City Hall. A letter dated July 30th says Orlando has kept its millage rates consistent in recent years, but rising property values have pushed tax collections up by more than $120 million since 2020, a 55% increase. The DOJ notice is asking for everything having to do with contracting, employee pay, including overtime, property management, diversity, equity and inclusion training, and more. In a statement to News 6, Mayor Buddy Dyer said, quote, "Not only do we plan to cooperate, we also intend to share how the city of Orlando operates efficiently and in a financially responsible manner."
We're learning some more details about Ghislaine Maxwell's interview with the Department of Justice. CBS News has confirmed Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator did not say anything in the interview that would implicate President Trump. As CBS's Natalie Brand shows us, this comes as more of Epstein's accusers and their families demand answers.
One of the women who says she was victimized by Jeffrey Epstein appeared alongside her attorney Gloria Allred this afternoon in Los Angeles.
When I see it on the news every day, Jeffrey's in my brain and I see him again and again, and I remember what he did to me in that hotel room. And I feel pain in my heart for myself and all for the other victims.
CBS Mornings also spoke to the family of the late Virginia Giuffre, who became one of the most vocal Epstein accusers. They're questioning the treatment of co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, serving a prison sentence for sex trafficking.
She wasn't a victim like the narrative is trying to change right now. She was an active participant in the abuse.
Why are we listening to a known perjurer? I mean, I think if anybody needs to be heard, it's the survivors.
In Maxwell's roughly 9-hour interview last month with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, a source tells CBS News that she did not say anything that would harm or implicate President Trump.
The interview of Ghislaine Maxwell by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche should be released.
President Trump told reporters he doesn't know what was discussed, but indicated he has complete confidence in the Deputy Attorney General, who previously served as his personal attorney.
I didn't discuss it with him, but anything he talked about with her or the fact that he did that, not unusual, number one, and most importantly is something that would be totally above board.
Maxwell, who is appealing her case and seeking clemency, is also arguing against the Justice Department's request to unseal grand jury testimony in the case. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, car insurance rates increased 20% nationally from 2023 to last year. And in Florida, investigator Lewis Bolden found people were paying even more. Our state saw a 24% increase, making car insurance in Florida more expensive than any other state in the nation.
Our Laverne McGee told you 6 months ago, Governor DeSantis announced major carriers would be lowering rates across the state. And as Tarek Minor shows us, we are finally starting to see those lower rates.
After years of steep hikes in auto insurance, including a staggering 31% jump just last year, relief is finally coming to Florida drivers. State regulators say the 5 largest insurers, including Geico, Progressive, and State Farm, are planning rate cuts that average 6.5% across the board starting in 2025. That drop is thanks in large part to legislative reforms aimed at cleaning up the legal system surrounding insurance claims.
We had a major fraud situation escalating in Florida, where unscrupulous actors were contacting drivers at car washes, gas stations, shopping centers, and telling them, oh, I see there's a crack in your windshield. We could take care of that for you. Sign over your claim to us. It was called assignment of benefits. In March 2023, the Florida legislature eliminated assignment of benefits for glass claims. And that also targeted the high volume of frivolous lawsuits related to those glass claims.
The legislative changes worked. According to industry data, glass-related lawsuits dropped by 80% last year, and that savings is now showing up in your premiums. Experts say now's the time to shop around.
And not only should you be shopping around for the best price for auto insurance right now, experts say you may be eligible for a discount that you may not be aware of.
You don't have to necessarily switch insurers to get better pricing. Just make sure you're taking advantage of all the discounts.
WKMG, Tarek Minor, News 6.
Well, if you come across something strange on the road and you want us to look into it, we would love to.
That's exactly what happened to Trooper Steve recently. A viewer reached out to him with concerns over new signs at State Road 429 and Plant Street in Winter Garden, saying signs were causing confusion for drivers. So Trooper Steve went on patrol to check them out and see if they're really a problem.
Wrong way sign placement. Now, where they're at are within standards. But you can't see them here, but can you see them right here? Back camera shows those big red wrong way signs, wrong way detection system signs. They flash if the sensors pick up. But what's right on the opposite side of the roadway? It's a travel lane. So right where this garbage truck is going right now, that wrong way sign is visible to that driver of that garbage truck. Could that car?
Trooper Steve broke down more of the changes in the area. You can rewatch his stream in this article on clickorlando.com. Just look for the on results section under the traffic tab at the top of the page. And you can hit the road with Trooper Steve on patrol weekday mornings at 10, live on the new 6 Plus streaming app for your smart TV or clickorlando.com.
Well, a Central Florida athlete needs your help to be recognized as one of the best in the country. Hear her inspirational story after the break. She's cute, too. Well, a 4-year-old girl from Apopka is defying the odds of health challenges she was born with and is now nominated for a big award.
News 6's Gina Manhalal spoke with her family about their incredible story and what winning this award would mean.
So we actually got nominated to be in the Sports Illustrated Youth Athlete of the Year.
At just 4 years old, Braylon Farmer, better known as River, is in the running to be Youth Athlete of the Year for Sports Illustrated. But her mom, Tiffany Clark, says it wasn't always easy getting here.
She was diagnosed back in October with DiGeorge syndrome. Not a lot of people know about this syndrome.
Compared to Down syndrome, where the patient has an extra chromosome, making 23, River is the opposite, not having a full normal 22 chromosomes, causing challenges that may not be obvious at first glance.
She was born with both feet that were club feet. She was also born with a submucous cleft palate, which keeps her from being verbal.
Despite being nonverbal, River still connects with the competition audience.
There was a part in our cheer that says ARC, which stands for Apopka Royals Cheer. ARC! We had her actually doing the sign language ARC up on stage. And then once the entire crowd realized what she was doing, the entire crowd joined in and was doing ARC with her.
How does that make you feel as a mom watching that?
Proud. I just want to cry.
River's coaches have been working with her since October 2024 when she first started cheer.
She runs just like all the other girls. She does all the tumbling. She does her jumps. I mean, you would not know that there's anything wrong with her. In fact, a couple of the girls on the team didn't even know that she couldn't talk.
So I was just able to kind of put together what she meant, and now, less than a year later, I can pretty much communicate with her fully, and it's amazing.
Winning the title would mean a $25,000 award that Mom says would be a huge help towards medical bills. Now, River needs all the help that she can get to move into the top 20 for this nomination, and you can help her. Scan this QR code and vote for free, or click the link in our Click Orlando article. In Orlando, Jana Manhalal, News 6.
She's adorable.
How do you not vote for that cute little thing?
Exactly. And while the nominations are closed for this year, if you have an athlete that is worthy of the title, you can nominate them at athleteoftheyear.org.
Good stuff. She has come a long way. All right, let's get you over to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. Jonathan, how much action do you have tonight?
The good news is it's not a lot, but where we have it, it's packing a punch tonight. Good thing is we don't have any warnings, but my friends in St. Cloud and Kissimmee, right along that northern Osceola County edge there, you know there's something around. Tons of lightning right over St. Cloud right now, especially moving down the south side. I'll take it closer in towards Lake Toho tonight, crossing St. Cloud, also trying to push into Harmony. Holopaw, we are dry right now. There's that outflow boundary I've been tracking. Again, that's typically a precursor of more thunderstorms. It has often the ability to fire off more thunderstorms. So I'll be watching that for you over the next couple of hours as this all kind of pushes its way back towards Brevard County. Again, tons of heavy rain closer to Earlo Bronson Boulevard as well down the Florida Turnpike this evening. That all continues to push off to the south. Just some light rain north of Central Florida. Could have a few more scattered thunderstorms in between I-75 and I-4 tonight. Not seeing that extra development just yet, meaning that the East Coast sea breeze is kind of given up tonight and letting everything pass without putting up any kind of fight. So we'll be watching to see if we get that development west of I-4 this evening. There's 8 o'clock tomorrow. Everybody dry. I think we have a day very similar to what we're seeing out there this afternoon and into the evening. 2 o'clock tomorrow, per typical, we're going to fire off a few more thunderstorms, and then we get a big line of storms to develop closer to I-75. That will start to push towards the Orlando metro area and the I-4 corridor as we move over the next couple of hours. Rain chances if you're heading to the soccer game, highest early. So out early, walking into the game, be on the lookout for some thunderstorms nearby. Optimistic, though, those rain chances going to drop significantly as they move to the second half of the match tonight as Orlando City back in town. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Publix.
Highs tomorrow in the low to mid-90s. Rain chances back to 60%. Tropical front, bark certainly worse than its bite. Development chances going down a little bit off the disturbance off of the Carolina coastline. That's going to lift up. If it does develop, it's likely not even going to hurt anything. This big blob of orange here, that big drawing that you see on the screen from the National Hurricane Center, it's this wave right here. It's the one we've been talking about for the last couple of days. There's been some wild model runs that put a major hurricane coming through like next week. That is going to head back out to sea. Again, everything now on board with taking it back out to sea. So again, All of that was just some of the garbage that we talk about, that we always break down. The wave right now, it's looking healthy, but it has to do battle with some of the dust. Big plume of it hanging off the African continent, and there's some sun to some of it to the north. It's going to ingest some of that. Again, it has a 60% shot for develop as it likely stays out. Now, as we move into the middle of August, the Atlantic as a whole still not really that conducive, although it looks like we are going to get into a period from August 13th to 19th. Greater than 40% shot here is designated by the Climate Prediction Center that we could have something approaching the islands. The steering current is a little bit concerning. However, the storms are also fighting some pretty nasty conditions for themselves. So, I mean, we'll keep that good news rolling for the time being. But again, there are no immediate threats in the tropics, and I want you to know that. 60% shot for storms over the next couple of days locally, 60% chance rolling into the weekend. Temperature staying in the mid-90s, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Still to come, a man is facing federal charges accused of stealing millions of dollars in sports memorabilia. What investigators say he did with it.
And the good signs coming out of one of Central Florida's biggest employers.
Coming up in the morning, the debate over kids and vaccines.
Yeah, what the experts are saying about a decline in the vaccination rates in Central Florida.
And what it all means as kids head back to class in just days.
Plus your weather and traffic updates every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Mornings starting at 6.
Take a break from those summer reruns and try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Ginger and I have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Then go in depth and track the tropics. And we'll answer your questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas at 9:30. And then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your app store's smart TV setup. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire.
Trips to Walt Disney World in Central Florida and Disneyland in California helped Disney boost their third quarter profits, and the addition of streaming subscribers has also been a big help. The company earned just over $5 billion in the quarter, after earning just over $2.5 billion in the same quarter last year. However, revenue was still just short of Wall Street's expectations. Now, this comes as ESPN, which is owned by Disney, acquired parts of the NFL's media presence, such as NFL Network. It's a non-binding agreement in which the NFL gets a 10% stake in ESPN.
An update now to a multi-million-dollar heist out of a Florida locker room we told you about last week. A team official is now facing federal charges for their role in this. A former Miami Heat security officer is accused of stealing and selling millions of dollars worth of team memorabilia. He's charged with transporting and transferring stolen goods and interstate commerce. Federal prosecutors say the retired Miami police officer stole more than 400 game-worn jerseys and other items being set aside for the future Miami Heat Museum. They say he later sold over 100 of those items, many of them at below market value. The other 300 or so pieces were apparently found at his house.
As it was described to me, this is one of the largest, if not the largest, memorabilia heists in the history of this country, in any sport.
Miami Heat confirmed the items were taken from the arena, but declined to comment further, citing the ongoing investigation.
Ginger Gadsden is in the newsroom with what we are working on for News 6 at 6.
Lisa and Matt, we're following a shocking story coming out of Flagler County tonight. Deputies say a woman posing as a nurse cared for more than 4,000 patients. See the moments she was arrested while still wearing her scrubs.
Real drivers facing real consequences for going dangerously fast. I'm Catherine Silver in Orlando, where we're talking to the state attorney about Florida's new super speeder law.
All right, we've got some dicey weather out there. This is a live look at International Drive from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back. A woman arrested while still wearing her hospital scrubs.
We believe that there are over 4,400 patients.
A closer look at her charges, plus.
Really going 105 miles? Come on, just don't give a how fast you're going.
How fast were you going? I was going like 80.
Drivers speeding through Central Florida despite a new law meant to crack down. The message from Orange and Osceola's top prosecutor. You're watching News 6 at 6. We begin tonight with a shocking story out of Flagler County. This newly released body cam footage shows a woman still in her hospital scrubs being arrested by deputies.
Investigators say she cared for more than 4,000 people while working at Advent Health Palm Coast Hospital. The problem? Deputies say she forged her nursing license. Your Flagler County community correspondent Molly Reed spoke with the sheriff.
The sheriff here in Flagler County calls this case unusual. Now, deputies say the woman's intent was to eventually become a nurse, but she never got the license and instead pretended to be someone who is actually licensed to be a nurse in Florida.
We believe that there are over 4,400 patients that she was in one manner or another that was involved in care at Advent Health Palm Coast.
Autumn Bardisa now faces 14 charges. She was fired back in January. Body cam shows deputies arresting her on Tuesday.
And the reason it took 7 months is you have to remember that we are trying to thread the needle on HIPAA laws.
Sheriff Rick Staley says the 29-year-old woman worked at the Advent Health Palm Coast Parkway Hospital from 2023 to 2025. He says in reality, she failed the national test to become a registered nurse, so she didn't have a license. Instead, she applied using the license of another woman named Autumn, who was an actual employee of Advent Health elsewhere in Florida.
They noticed when they checked that the last name was different, and she said, well, I just got married.
Staley says Advent Health asked her to turn in a marriage license as proof, but she never did. It was only discovered that she was using a fake nursing license when she was offered a promotion to charge nurse in January. Another nurse checked for her license under her real name, found Bardisa didn't have one, went to Advent Health authorities, and she was fired.
Ironically, after she was fired from Advent Health, she actually did take the licensing exam in early 2025 and passed it this time.
And she, of course, was already under criminal investigation at that time. Now, anybody who believes they might be a victim of Bardisa is asked to contact deputies here at the Flagler Sheriff's Office at fakenurse@flaglersheriff.com. I'm your Flagler County community correspondent, Molly Reed, News 6.
What a crazy story. So again, that email address Molly just shared up on your screen right now. Again, it's fakenurse@flaglersheriff.com. Reach out to them if you have concerns about any care you may have gotten at Advent Health Palm Coast Hospital in the past. It sounds like about 4,400 people could be emailing.
Unbelievable. Well, a live look now at International Drive from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera as we turn to check your forecast now. You can see things are looking dreary out there. News 6 meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now, and you're still dealing with some stuff out there.
Yeah, the good news is it's not as widespread, but we do have a nasty little cell hanging out over St. Cloud and Kissimmee. Look at all the lightning. It's pretty much covering up the northwest half of Osceola County. So that sky cam that you just saw there is pointed from downtown Orlando. No doubt to this cell hanging out here. That's where all the dark clouds are from. Again, it's pretty intense. We have a lot of lightning with it. There's some shifting winds in here, so I'm keeping a close eye on it. Same kind of situation. We got the really nasty thunderstorm just to the north and east of St. Cloud on Monday night because we have the outflow boundary here. We have the East Coast sea breeze coming in. Not a tornado setup by any means. We're not talking about a dynamic atmosphere. However, there's a low level with some wind shear with these outflow boundaries in play here. Nonetheless, we have a lot of lightning, very, very heavy rain in the darker reds there. We'll take you a little closer in. Right on down the Florida Turnpike, Harmony into Holopah. We're on the west side of Holopah right now, getting in some light rain, but you can hear the thunder. That's kind of drifting back off from the northwest to the southeast as well. I'll have my eye on this cell for the remainder. It remains alive about 45 minutes to an hour before it clears us in Osceola County, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Now to a developing story out of Georgia. 5 soldiers were shot this morning at Fort Stewart. Investigators say the shooter was one of their own sergeants. Military officials say that shooter's 28-year-old automated logistics sergeant who is now on pretrial confinement. Law enforcement responded to the shooting just before 11 this morning. That base went on lockdown, and the suspect was arrested 30 minutes later. Investigators confirmed the weapon was a personal handgun, not military issued. Right now, investigators don't know the motive behind the shooting. All the soldiers who were shot are expected to survive. You can stay tuned after News 6 at 6. CBS Evening News will have more details on this story coming up on News 6 at 6:30.
Developing tonight, you voted for them, and tonight they are back in the headlines for two separate reasons. We're talking about former Seminole County tax collector Joel Greenberg, and a federal judge just unsealed court records in the criminal case against him, and U.S. Congressman Corey Mills, who is being accused by an ex of threatening to release sexually explicit images of her. We begin, though, with News 6 investigator Mike DeForest, who has been covering the Joel Greenberg case since the very beginning. And Mike, you have an update tonight.
Well, Ginger, in these newly unsealed records, we're learning that Joel Greenberg provided federal investigators with information about the 2018 Florida governor's race. That was the one between Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum. It was a very close race that resulted in a machine recount before DeSantis was declared the winner. Now, we do not know from these records what specific information Greenberg provided about that election recount, but it appears the questions were part of a much bigger investigation into the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. A few months before January 6, 2021, Joel Greenberg resigned from his position as Seminole County's tax collector as prosecutors charged him with several federal offenses. Right now, Greenberg is serving an 11-year prison sentence after pleading guilty to child sex trafficking, aggravated identity theft, and other crimes. As part of a plea deal with prosecutors, Greenberg was required to cooperate with federal authorities on other criminal investigations. These newly unsealed records confirm Greenberg provided information into multiple Florida public officials who are accused of engaging in commercial sex, including with a minor, and distributing drugs. Greenberg also provided information about so-called ghost candidate scheme in Seminole County, and he assisted with a fraud investigation involving loans intended to help small businesses during the COVID pandemic. Now, last year, the House Ethics Committee released a report linking former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz to that investigation involving commercial sex. Now, Gaetz has adamantly denied any wrongdoing. He has not been charged with any crimes. These newly unsealed records do not mention Matt Gaetz by name, but they do indicate Greenberg provided 2 interviews as part of that investigation and also voluntarily turned over his cell phone and social media accounts. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike DeForest, News 6.
Mike, thank you. Meanwhile, U.S. Representative Corey Mills' ex says he threatened to release revenge porn of her after she dumped him. News 6 reporter Laverne McGee is in New Smyrna Beach, where the ex says they used to live together.
Lindsay Langston is a Columbia County Republican State Committee woman and Miss United States pageant winner. This incident report says she told police that Congressman Corey Mills threatened to release intimate images and video after she left him earlier this year. Things went sour after news broke that another woman who was living in Mills' Washington home accused the congressman of assaulting her in the home they shared. That woman later withdrew her accusation. I asked Congressman Mills about that in April.
You have to have an actual victim for an actual complaint or crime, in which there wasn't any, and it was actually made very clear that there was nothing that actually occurred in the incident. So I'm all about following due process. I'm all about allowing them to do what they need to do. But I think they're going to come to the very same findings as the prosecutor Ed Martin found, where he said that there was no actual prosecutable charges, there was no actual evidence, and he literally kicked it back to MPD saying that they had absolutely nothing.
Meanwhile, Anthony Sabatini is the lawyer representing Langston. He is a Republican who ran against Mills and lost. He told me Langston didn't want to comment, but says, quote, I believe it's time for Mills to step down or be expelled from the House of Representatives. Mills put out this statement that says, in part, Anthony Sabatini is weaponizing the legal system to launch a political attack against the man who beat him in the primary. These claims are false and misrepresent the nature of my interactions. I have always conducted myself with integrity, both personally and in service to Florida's 7th District. We've also learned that this incident report has been turned over to the FDLE. Reporting in New Smyrna Beach, Laverne McGee, News 6.
A group of 4 astronauts who should be on their way back to Earth remain on the International Space Station tonight. Crew 10 was scheduled to undock from the ISS earlier today, but their departure was called off due to some high wind in the splashdown zones right off the coast of California. NASA and SpaceX are now targeting tomorrow, just after noon, for undocking. If it happens on time, the crew will splash down Friday, just before noon.
Is that really going 105 miles?
Come on.
Drivers caught speeding through Central Florida, capturing the attention of Orange and Osceola's top prosecutor. Her message. Plus, changes are coming to what you can buy using SNAP benefits in Florida. The items scratched from the list starting next year. And two teams from the same town ending the day with very different emotions. Sports Director Jamie Say has an update on Lake Mary baseball and softball and their quest for a Little League World Series title.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole.
Starting next year, Florida families using SNAP at the grocery store will run into new restrictions at the cash register.
This week, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture gave the go-ahead for Florida to change what items are eligible for purchase. Being crossed off the list is soda, energy drinks, candy, and prepared desserts. Florida is one of 5 states making this change to its SNAP benefits. The others are West Virginia, Colorado, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. The restrictions fall in line with an initiative laid out by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Again, this goes into effect January 1st next year.
Right here behind me on the 408, an individual was driving a Porsche at 150 miles or more an hour.
Now at 6, the top prosecutor in Orange and Osceola counties calling out drivers going dangerously fast. These are just some of the arrests we've seen in the past month. This guy right here accused of going 111 miles an hour in a 35-mile-per-hour speed zone. So dangerous, our own Catherine Silver spoke to the state attorney about Florida's new law and how her office plans to handle these cases.
By the time you see the lights and hear the sirens, troopers say they had already clocked this Mercedes going 113 in the I-4 express lanes.
Is that really going 105 miles? Come on.
In Volusia, this guy says he wasn't even looking at the speedometer.
You just don't give a how fast you're going?
And look at the smoke rising from this Challenger as another so-called super speeder ends up in handcuffs.
How fast were you going? I was going like 80, and the car's smoking like that?
Since July 1st, anyone caught going over the speed limit by 50 or more or over 100 can be charged with a misdemeanor.
Oh, I did not know that.
Have you heard of Florida's new super speeder law?
That's the one where if they get caught going over 50 miles an hour, it's like a direct to jail type thing or something.
The state attorney says it's quite the step up from a simple traffic citation.
Drivers who put others at risk face real consequences.
2 more drivers stopped on the Turnpike and 408 Tuesday were taken to jail for dangerous excessive speeding. One of them with a learner's permit when a deputy trailed him at a speed of 119.
It's pretty scary out there.
The Florida Highway Patrol has started posting pictures on social media to spread the word. That Challenger we showed you was clocked going 155. One of at least 55 super speeders, FHP says, are now facing charges across Central Florida. Have any of the cases that have come to your office been resolved yet?
It's still early, but my understanding is that there have been several arrests already.
Here's what the outcome could be if you see law enforcement in your rear view. A $500 fine and up to 30 days in jail, even for a first-time offender. And the state attorney tells me that she's flagging these cases, so they're only resolved with her management team's approval. In Orlando, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
My goodness. All right, so here's a live look now over Daytona Beach, where safety officials are warning about very dangerous rip current conditions. They said yesterday alone, 62 people had to be rescued, and conditions are the same today. So if you're heading out tonight or tomorrow, beach safety, they are begging people to swim in front of a staffed lifeguard tower. It could save your life if you need them.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with those rip currents
No, you
out there,
don't.
too. All right, we've got meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. What's going on that's causing all this?
We have the breeze out of the east. Anytime you have that breeze perpendicular into the shoreline, that rip current risk goes right up, and that's what we're going to have for the next couple of days. A little system to increase our rain chances is going to keep our wind out of the east over the weekend. So while I do think if you have plans to spend the last weekend of summer before the kids go back to school at the beach, I think you're going to be in luck in that department where we might fire off a couple of thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. Those will quickly move to the west, but those rip current risks, again, going to be there. Here's the nasty stuff. It's still hanging out in Osceola County. I've been watching this for you guys from Point Siena into Kissimmee for the last couple of hours now. This is sliding back into Deer Park and Hullapaw, Harmony. Good evening. We're watching the big-time thunderstorms. Nothing severe here at this point, but this is all sinking back off to the south. Just some light rain here through Daytona Beach, working its way back up into Deltona, taking closer into the Florida Turnpike. Things lightening up a little bit. We still have lightning around Lake Toho and onto the south side of Kissimmee, and you see that kind of taking a trip down the Turnpike. So not the best drive if you're heading to, say, Kenansville, Yeehaw Junction, or all the way down to Fort Lauderdale or something down the Turnpike. It's going to be a rough go of things. Next couple of hours, again, I think we have the opportunity to see a few storms pop up in between Orlando and in between I-75, although it looks like the East Coast sea breeze kind of giving up a little bit, and it's not forcing everything back tonight. So it may get through the rest of the evening pretty good. There's 1 to 2 o'clock for your afternoon tomorrow, and then more storms coming back from the Gulf side of Florida tomorrow. That's 7 o'clock tomorrow evening as everything kind of pushes from west to east tomorrow before things fizzle back out. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
Temperatures back into the low to mid 90s again. We're at 91 degrees. Palm Coast back to Bunnell. We're in the low 90s, 93 in Orlando. Good evening in Groveland. We're at 95 degrees. Rain chances back up to 60%, especially into the afternoon. Now, going into the weekend, rain chances holding at 60%. We will have scattered thunderstorms on Saturday, and I think the highest chances over those 2 days of the weekend going to be on the west side of Florida. We'll pop things early around I-95, and then we'll force things back to the west a little bit. So early heads up on I-75 that we're going to do a little more dodging than along the coast. So there's 3 o'clock on Friday, and note those arrows again. We were talking about that rip current risk. Note the arrows out of the south and east, and again, anything kind of perpendicular into the shoreline, it pushes the storms from the Atlantic side inland, and it also increases the rip current risk. That's 5 o'clock for you on your Saturday evening. And then same kind of thing, weak little disturbance kind of sliding across the southern side of the peninsula, and you see the darker reds and yellows kind of clinging around I-75 into the Gulf side of Florida. So just keep that in mind that right now anyway, it looks like that the highest opportunity for rain going to be on the west side of the Florida peninsula. 93s all around for the next couple of days. We're going to keep that 60% shot for storms rolling right on through Sunday. We're keeping things, of course, typically hot through the rest of the 7-day forecast back to the mid-90s.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
Sports Director Jamie Say is here. Jamie, 2 different emotions from Lake Mary's Little League teams.
Yeah, we're talking the thrill of victory, right? And the agony of defeat. Both Lake Mary baseball and softball needed wins today to keep the ride going. Baseball was trying to get to the World Series. Softball trying to stay in the World Series. Late game plays that dictate the outcomes. It's next.
And take a break from those summer reruns. Try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Ginger and I have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight at 9. After that, check out Jonathan. He'll take a look at the tropics and answer your questions. That's meteorologist Jonathan Kagas at 9:30. Then watch the late news at 10. That is all tonight on News 6 Plus. You can download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's on Roku, Apple, and Fire.
Welcome back to News 6. A mix of joy and pain today for Lake Mary Little League. The softball team triumphs in extra innings at the World Series, but the baseball team was handed a heartbreaking loss that ends their run. We're going to start with baseball. Lake Mary in the Southeast Regional Final against Irmo, South Carolina. Starting pitcher Jacob Brown was in command, strikes out the side in the second. Brown strikes out 7 in the game, pitches 5 innings of shutout baseball. Lake Mary gets on the board in the third inning. Base is loaded for DJ Mieses, sends one to left. 1 run scores, and here comes Jackson Roykey. Play at the plate. Umpires review, and Roykey is safe. Lake Mary up 3-0 after 3 innings. Then in the 5th, the All-Stars get another on the board. Winston Bernstein hits it where they ain't. That's going to plate a run. But Major Homan will be caught in a rundown between third and home plate, and Homan will be tagged out. Still, Lake Mary had a 4-0 lead into the bottom of the 6th, and that's when things go sideways with a couple of bases-loaded walks, and then this.
2-2. Hit on a line, deep field, off the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs will score. Giuliani coming home. Ball game.
Irmo, South Carolina walks off with a win as Brady Westbrooks delivers a 3-run triple in the bottom of the 6th. Lake Mary falls 5-4 after South Carolina scores 5 runs in that final inning. The All-Stars run ends 1 victory short of the World Series. Meanwhile, the Lake Mary Little League All-Star softball team stays alive in the World Series in Greenville, North Carolina. They faced the Northwest Region champs from Washington State today in a must-win situation. They did not flinch. They goofed a little bit, but did not flinch. Pitchers duel a lot of the way, but Lake Mary strikes in the 5th. Alana Liu sends one up the middle. Rachel Lester scores, and it's 1-0 Lake Mary. Washington, though, answers in the bottom of the 5th. The line drive ripped to left. A run scores to tie the game. Now, Lake Mary is able to get that out at second, but it's 1-1, and the game goes to extra innings. In the 7th, Bryn Feeser with a tough grounder to second. Rachel Lester will score the go-ahead run, and then Alana Liu does this.
Alana Liu. Get it to the wall.
That's a good hit. Alana Liu drives in 3 with a triple. Lake Mary softball goes on to win this 5-3 in 7 innings to stay alive in the World Series. So Lake Mary softball gets a day off tomorrow. Then they're going to take the field Friday at 4 in another elimination game. They'll face either the team from Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Those 2 teams play tomorrow. The loser will play Lake Mary on Friday. Girls are good, but you just see all the emotional twists and turns of these World Series, and but you know, they gave it a great run. Both of these teams have represented our area so well.
You can't lose to a team that's represented by the town that represents the okra strut. It's Irmo, home of the okra strut.
I don't even know.
Says a South Carolina native. Don't know what she's talking about.
Thank you, Jamie. Any weather?
Yeah, let's get on to that. Just a couple of thunderstorms out there. Still kind of loud for us in Osceola County. This is pushing south of St. Cloud into Kenansville. Eventually, this is going to exit toward Yeehaw Junction. I'm cautiously optimistic that the evening is going to be much quieter than the last couple of guys. They've been loud and lingering on.
We're going to okra strut.
So, yeah,
it's a festival. It's an okra strut festival.
Sure.
Look it up on the machine.
We'll see you at 9 o'clock on Click Orlando.
I used to have to cover the okra strut.